The Credit Show podcast with Harry Jacobs starts now.
One of the things that's coming up a lot for folks regarding mortgages, folks that are in mortgages that want to come up with a way to lower their payments is doing what's called a recasting of the mortgage. I want to get into the details about that because I do get a lot of calls and I've seen a lot on the news about this, little stories here and there about mortgage recasting. You know, some of it's advertising, some of it's, just news stories about it. But it's one of those things where most people don't understand, even a lot of mortgage people don't understand what it is. So as you probably can guess, the mortgage is the single largest expense generally in any family's monthly budget, right? And now, of course, because of where we are with interest rates, it just doesn't make any sense to do anything in the way of a refinance. You know, you're probably not stuck in a 9-10% mortgage, right? That's my guess. So why would you refinance and get down to 7? It just doesn't make any sense. The 7's an increase in I'm sure every case at this moment, unless you had some crazy hard money loan. Mortgage recasting is what happens when you take a chunk of money, and that's what the recast is. You're taking a lump of money, 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever it is, and you're throwing it at the mortgage, basically saying to the mortgage company, I want to pay a chunk of principal, and then I want you to reset the loan. Right? They do what's called a re-amortization of the loan to reflect the new lower balance, and then that will decrease your monthly payments. And ultimately how much money you'll pay in interest over the life of the loan as well. Obviously, when all of that changes, everything changes for it. The rest of your loan terms all generally stay the same, including the length and the interest rate. There's no change there. It's just, a recast. So let's look at the math so that you can better understand this. Let's say you took out a mortgage for $400 at 5%. Your monthly payment at, $21.47. So 10 years later, your outstanding balance dropped from that $400 down to $325. Call it $325, $368 is what the calculator says. And you decide to recast that mortgage. By the way, the recast fee is real. You're not paying huge fees. It's only a couple $100. But let's say you owe that $325 and then you want to put 60 grand towards the principal and then re-amortize to get the payment down. So that 60 takes you down to like $265. And then you get the mortgage company to recast your mortgage and your payment goes from $21.47 down to $17.51. So you can save $400. Your 60 grand gets you $400 a month. So it's significant. By the way, when you look at the total cost of the mortgage, you end up paying about $34,000 less in total interest through the life of the loan. So it's not a bad deal if you've got the money to do that and recast it. Not every bank will do that. Handful of the major lenders do it. Rocket Mortgage, Chase does it. I'm not sure about other lenders, but it's one of those things that you should look at if you've got a chunk of change. Conventional mortgage loans only. The government loans, by the way, the VA, the USDA, the FHA, those loans are not eligible. By the way, those FHA loans, those make up about 60% of the loans in this country. You got to have some equity in your home. You got to have a chunk of money. You don't want to do it for $5 grand or 10 grand. You want to do it for 50 grand or 60 grand or more. So think about the process. Reach out to your lender and see what makes sense for you. But ask the question if you're in a position to do it and you've got a little chunk of change there.
You've been listening to the Credit Show podcast with Harry Jacobs. If you need assistance with your credit, text CREDIT to 702-778-2000.